This Icon podcast is hosted and sponsored by Sphere Rocket Virtual Assistants, a leading provider for your virtual assistants and outsourcing needs. Owned by one of the top-ranking EXP agents, Justin Nelson. Sphere Rocket VA provides a one-stop virtual staffing solution for business owners, and we specialize in helping business owners grow their business by leveraging through virtual assistants. Trusted by the top names in the real estate industry like Kyle Whistle, Andrew Franklin, John Kitchens, and many more. Get ready to up your success and we'll help you achieve your business goals. Book your free consultation at sphererocketva.com and find out how we can make your life easier.
What's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Icon Podcast. I am your host, Gianna. Today we've got Jon Carroll. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So, Jon, tell me a little bit about your history. How did you grow up to be a real estate agent? Where are you from? What's the background? Give me the spiel.
Yeah. Again, thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm a part of a family of realtors. So my uncle is as a realtor up in New York, Long Island area. And my father was my broker for a number of years. And I started off working with him. I'm in Vero Beach, Florida, like the central east coast of Florida, Space and Treasure Coast. And so I started working as a tutelage under him for a number of years. And that's kind of how I got into real estate. Actually, I was adversely trying to like get away from real estate for a number of years.
I get that. My grandparents were like, be a real estate agent, you'll make money, it's a good career. I'm like, I don't want to.
Yeah, I didn't want to. So after college, I came back, started working for my father. This is 07, 08, the downturn. He was the foreclosure broker here in our area. So when I say that, obviously he had all of the foreclosures when they first came out. So we were just knocking on doors, doing cash for keys, that sort of thing. Didn't fit with me really. So I was coming out of college, I was like, yeah, this is not for me. Took a trip overseas, lived abroad, learned how to teach, taught English in South America, and then met my wife and came back and started, real estate and started a family. So, it kind of always was, I like to say, my dharmic path. It always seemed like it was the right path for me, and it always seemed it was calling me back.
Okay, awesome. So, Jon, how did you come across EXP then? Was it your first brokerage? Were you introduced to it? What was that process like for you?
Yeah. So after working for my father, he owned the RE/MAX brokerage. My uncle had one of the larger RE/MAX brokerages in the Northeast. My dad was aging out of the business. And it was like I went through the broker training course at RE/MAX, and I realized what that was about. I also saw from the inside out what it takes to run a brokerage. What's the business model of a brokerage? And it didn't make sense to me. It didn't make sense of what I wanted to do. And so when he was aging out, it was like, hey, do you want to take on this brokerage, or what do you want to do? And at least that's the kind of the questions that I was contemplating. So from there, I love the split, of the 95-5 split that RE/MAX offers. And so KW was the natural progression. So I went from there to KW, not for long. Actually, someone who was like pitching me EXP, it was really difficult for me to understand the structure of EXP, or just because of the pitch, right? He made it really complicated. And then when I went to KW, I was there for really only 8 or 9 months, met somebody who was able to explain the benefits and features of EXP. And then from there, once I really clicked, it was like really hard to unsee it. It's just like, this makes so much sense.
Absolutely. And that model, once you see it, you can't unsee it. It just really, like you said, it makes sense. It's a brokerage built by realtors for realtors, and the model is unlike anything else. And so, Jon, now that you're here, obviously you've gotten to experience rev share, collaboration, lots of fun stuff. So what's been your favorite parts about being with EXP? What keeps you here?
Yeah, I mean, all of those things that you mentioned, rev share, stock options, that sort of thing, the split, the 100% split, I love, right? I'd only work for a company with like an incentive plan to go to 100%, right? So those are all great, but the big thing for me is the collaborative
Mhm.
part of it. I think it's structured in a way that's really smart regarding like sharing information. And I think in this era of everybody being more open and realizing they have to lead with value, and attract, I think it's just built for that. So it made a lot of sense for me. Also, I wanted to move in that direction anyway. It feels better for me to show my cards and share and collaborate. Just feels better intrinsically for me. So I think that's the best part of the brokerage for me, for sure.
Absolutely. That's awesome, John. So, beyond that, there's a lot that goes into being a real estate agent. And like you said, you started a family, you've got a wife. So how do you balance it all? What does your work-life balance look like to you? I guess, how do you draw the line between work and play and set boundaries and make sure you're taking care of yourself, your family, your clients?
Yeah, so I think it starts off with just having a schedule and then being disciplined to the schedule and consistent for always, right? I think that starts at just as simple as that. Everything is scheduled. So when I first started, it was like I didn't really understand that. Now it's like taking soccer practice is scheduled. Everything is date night scheduled. Everything is scheduled, right? So everything goes on the schedule. So I think that's one of the most important things. And then for me, just I stay active. I'm training for the Florida Ironman, long distance Ironman that's coming up.
Awesome. Oh my gosh, that's not an easy feat.
Yeah, and it really juxtaposes real estate really well with discipline and plan and following the plan, staying consistent. So just finding different things to stay inspired and keep me, interested. Because it can get mundane, anything, and so just new stuff like that.
Absolutely. No, that's it. That's incredible, John. And everything, when it's on your calendar, it has a lot more probability of actually happening and being, planned on. And I find that a lot of people use that as a very critical tool when, coming across their work-life balance. So, John, let's talk production in your area now. So what does that average housing price look like for you? How many homes do you typically have to sell to be able to cap?
Yeah, so I think for us, it's somewhere around 7 or 8 homes sold to cap. Average price point in our area is like right around 420,000, in that range. So it's really close to the national average. And yeah, so it's funny how much it's grown in the last couple of years. I remember when I first started, it was like 208,000. Now it's at 400. So it's over doubled, right?
Yeah, absolutely. To be a homeowner back when it was cheap, right? That would have been nice, but I think I was definitely not old enough to qualify for a mortgage at that time. But man, do I wish I was. That's awesome, John. So beyond production, you also have a cultural commitment to get that other portion of your stock awards. So are you a mentor? Are you a teacher? Are you on an icon panel? Do you vet other icons? What's your cultural commitment? Why do you go with that?
Yeah, for me, it's mentoring. I mean, that resonates with me and my wife. My wife actually works with me as well. But I realize, and I'm still learning in different areas of real estate, but I realize like how important it is to have a mentor, just to give, just to give certainty to whoever the student is, to like say, yeah, you're doing the right thing, or this is what you need to be doing, right? So I think it's super important. So for us, it's always mentorship, and then teaching. Sure, we're always teaching. We offer classes every Friday to our downline, with regards to sales and lead gen and listing process, buying process. What we did, system processes in general, what we did to be successful. So yeah, that's
awesome.
That's our plan.
Perfect. So, John, my last question in regards to your experience with the icon, What's your favorite part about it? Because you get stock awards, you get the option to go to EXP Con and shareholders practically for free, right? You get paid to go to that. And then you get a big glass shiny trophy. It's a great status to have. You unlock important rooms with important people. So what's your favorite part? Why are you going to continue to strive to icon?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, again, the collaborative side of it, like you mentioned, big rooms, big important people. I love that. Also, the stock option, $8,000 back is fantastic. And that's where, you know, to be honest, I think it really excites me, the $8,000 back as well. It's just, you know, being a part of a company that's willing to give you back money. And it just kind of goes into the idea of the cap again, right? It's just incentivizing salespeople to do their best, to strive for a goal and to hit the goal. And I think that's really cool.
Absolutely. And talking about big goals and striving for that, you know, if somebody comes up to you, Jon, and they're like, hey, Jon, I just came to EXP. Maybe they've been in the game for a while. Maybe they're a rookie and they're like, I am looking to icon. It's my first year. Is that possible for me? You know, is that achievable for somebody in their first year with EXP? What are some major mistakes to avoid or daily goals to set out on if they want to hit such a goal?
Totally. I think it's totally doable, right? So a couple of different things. I think you have to decide, like, do you want to work with somebody as a team, right? And what does that team offer you? And what can they offer you, right? Can you get there? If that is your goal, can you get there by working with a team, right? And what does that look like? Or do you want to do it yourself? And yeah, it's totally doable yourself too. So understanding where your leads are coming from, understanding how to convert those leads, understanding how to service those leads are all important, right? So like I said, 8 deals a year to get to your cap. And then I think you have to do a few other deals, maybe on top of that to get to icon. So, I mean, 20, 25 deals, totally possible to do, right? And then look for like a cultural commitment, like you said, mentorship or giving back, teaching classes on how you guys did it. So yeah, I think it's totally doable.
Totally doable. Yeah, lean into your mentors, set out some goals, hold yourself accountable, and you can definitely get there. And Jon, you know, when it comes to EXP, when you first heard it floating around in the industry, were you ever skeptical of it? Kind of too good to be true. It's a pyramid scheme. It's a cult.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And my intention always is like, hey, if it is, then what's the harm? Like why can't?
Yeah.
It sounds great. Why I can always leave, right? It's not like.
And if you're in a pyramid scheme, they're not going to arrest you for falling for it. You thought it was your job. They're going to arrest the guy that made it up.
Yeah. So exactly. So it's I think it's just doing things, like going forward, moving forward. If that seems like a better opportunity, go for it, right? Jump in. You know, I don't. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's, if it seems like the best opportunity out there, which it does right now for me. I mean, from my perspective, go for it. Yeah, don't look back.
I love that. And so, you know, go for it, right? So somebody's watching this right now. Maybe they're on the edge about coming over to EXP. They're nervous. They don't know how to break up their broker. They don't know if EXP is everything it's hyped up to be. So what would you have to say to them, you know, to get them to make that move, have faith in that decision, dump their broker and put themselves first?
Yeah, I think it's like, what is their broker doing for them? You know, that's a question. Like, really, what is their broker doing for them?
Mm-hmm.
You know, if it intrinsically, like, and I think if you really look at it, because you know, I was in that broker business. I mean, what, like, ultimately, what's important to you, and it boils down to me and salespeople. We're working for, you know, we're getting paid for our money, for our time, right? So who's giving back to you, and what is the opportunity, right? What's the opportunity for the future for you? Like, and what is that brokerage present you? What opportunities they present you? So I don't know. I think that's really what it boils down for me. Also, like, what I really love is just the autonomy that it provides me. Like, I come from a place where I really somewhat know what I'm doing, right? And I love, like, I'm calling you from my house office. Like, I'm outside of my I don't go to the office. I mean, I have a virtual team. We all work remotely wherever we are. Like, I love that. Like I don't have somebody like looking over my back all the time. Like, I don't know. I just love that, you know, and I think that's just the where everything's moving towards.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, Jon. And, having the opportunity to still build your own brand, EXP just provides you the bones. It takes care of all that overhead. I think you have like $85 a month if you're an Icon agent because you've earned that cap back. Like you're not setting money on fire or giving it to somebody. It's coming back to you and in stock awards. So it has the opportunity to multiply as well. And I think that's great for retention. It's great for morale. Awesome to award top producers with that. And I guess, are you going to EXPCon, Jon?
I went to the shareholders event, and I think I'm not going to EXPCon.
Oh, that's the fun one. It's in Vegas.
Yeah, I'm not. But there's still time. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And there's always next year. Of course, I'm sure shareholders was a little easier for you to hop over to since you're in Florida. But Jon, with that being said, you guys have questions about EXP or anything real estate, reach out to Jon. These Icon agents are here to help you. Even if you're not with EXP, you're just curious, you want to do some research. Everybody is here to talk to you. Jon, it's been a pleasure. I'm going to keep you backstage on StreamYard after this episode. But other than that, is there anything that you'd like to leave the listeners with today as we wrap it up?
Yeah, I mean, if anybody, like you said, if anybody has any questions, you can always email me. You can find me on the internet. Just Google my name, Jon Carroll, Realtor, Florida. I'll pop up. On Instagram, Jon_W Carroll. I'm there. And yeah, any questions, we'd love to help me and my wife. And I think if anybody's thinking about making the transition over to EXP, everybody's coming, so you might as well do it now.
It's not a matter of if, it's when. That's what everybody has to say. Jon, thank you so much for your time today, and hopefully maybe I'll catch you at EXPCon if you change your mind, but shareholders next year, I'll catch you there.
Perfect.
Thanks, Jon. Bye.
This Icon podcast is hosted and sponsored by Sphere Rocket Virtual Assistants, a leading provider for your virtual assistants and outsourcing needs. Owned by one of the top-ranking EXP agents, Justin Nelson. Sphere Rocket VA provides a one-stop virtual staffing solution for business owners, and we specialize in helping business owners grow their business by leveraging through virtual assistants. Trusted by the top names in the real estate industry like Kyle Whistle, Andrew Franklin, John Kitchens, and many more. Get ready to up your success and we'll help you achieve your business goals. Book your free consultation at SphereRocketVA.com and find out how we can make your life easier.